And welcome back to the Uncool Show. I'm Dylan.
I'm Nathan.
And we are on episode 27 today. And we're following up one Shia LaBeouf masterpiece with another. We're in the Summer of Shia, so to speak. God knows what'll be coming next. Hopefully Surf's Up. I don't know.
It might have to be
It might
Surf's
have
Up.
to be Surf's Up.
That is the Shia trilogy.
Yeah,
we've talked about for years now.
Yeah, the Shia 07 trilogy.
And very timely with Shia's new. This is at the perfect point of his career to talk about.
With Transformers 6 coming soon, Surf's Up 2, Disturbia 3.
Yep.
Just skipping over the second one. They're just going straight to the third.
They consider Rear Window the first.
Yeah.
Disturbia the second.
This is the spiritual successor. Yeah. But today we are talking about the biggest movie of Shia's career. Maybe Indiana Jones. I don't know.
In terms of like box office, it's probably this, Indy, Transformers 2 or Transformers 3.
But today we are talking about the original.
I spoiled it.
Yeah, we're talking about the original Transformers, the original series based on the Hasbro action figure line that nobody our age grew up with, but older people might know about,
The Paramount powers that be in 2007.
Yep. They thought it was necessary.
Put this forward. Yep.
It was time to make IP out of Transformers, and they did a really good job with it, to be honest with you.
They did.
In an era in which like now we see IP pop up pretty much every weekend in the movie theater in a very sloppy, quick way. At least back then, you can tell Transformers was made with a lot of love and care, and it took a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of planning. This is directed by Michael Bay, who has varying degrees of love or hate in the film community, depending on who you are and what his what mileage he gives you.
But me and you like him a lot.
We do. Why don't you talk a little bit about Bay?
We were talking during the movie about his career and all the movies we enjoy. I enjoy at least 3/4 of his career. He has made some duds. I think most of his duds are in the Transformers universe. I think that a lot of those movies people feel get progressively more lazy, and I think that he takes his foot off the gas, so to speak. And I was telling Dylan when we were watching the movie, I think we're missing his voice in Hollywood nowadays. And looking back at like the peak of his career in 2007, where he had the most cachet and sway, he made a really fun movie, that is based on IP and does feel a little gross, and there's a lot of product placement.
A ton.
There are like explosions every which way, and it does feel a little mindless at times, and
it is.
It is, but we have a great time watching it. This was a movie kind of going back to 2007. I was 7 years old when I saw this in theaters with Dylan and our uncle, and we just had a hell of a time watching this.
Yep.
It was another cultural moment of 2007. This was Shia's biggest movie of 2007 in terms of the draw, and for the time, and when they started making sequels, this was like a massive franchise.
Yeah, and like you said, it was a cultural. Everybody that I went to middle school with saw this movie. Everybody above us in everybody was talking about Transformers, and talking about Megan Fox as this was her first big blow up. And she was, went from nobody knowing who she was to being everywhere.
Like a movie star.
A literal movie star. Mm-hmm. But no, this movie was huge and still is huge in its own way. I think more so than... I've only seen the second movie in the franchise, and then one of the later ones with Mark Wahlberg. I couldn't even tell you which one. The one with T.J. Miller.
Age of Extinction.
That one, yep. And the second one and the Age of Extinction aren't very good, but this one still holds up. There are parts to it that aren't great, like you hinted at, but the special effects are still great. It moves at a really good pace. There's some real humor in this movie. It's like multiple laugh out loud moments and little things and little throwaway lines that always seem to make their way into Bay films. There's always like these little humorous characters that are only there for one scene, kind of like Bernie Mac in this one.
You see that a lot. We were talking like Martin Lawrence in the Bad Boys movies, when Bay was still at the helm of those movies. Pain and Gain has a ton of comedy in it. Even his most recent Ambulance, Jake Gyllenhaal is turning it up to 11 and going crazy. And he does have a flair for getting humor out of like his bombast and his known bayhem. So
Yep.
that is a specific touch that maybe doesn't work for everybody, but for like a Hollywood blockbuster, I think it is pretty funny. And that is due to the cast and due to how funny just Shia is and his timing and physicality.
Shia is really funny in this. Anthony Anderson pops up in this, and he's really funny. I did mention Bernie Mac really briefly. He has a really great scene in this.
John Turturro is really good in this.
John Turturro is really great in this. Tyrese Gibson has some funny moments. Usually, kind of like Shia, born out of fear, and letting Tyrese scream and run around, kind of like they let Shia scream and run around. But alongside the special effects and the pace and the humor, there's not a whole lot to hold on to. The plot is pretty paper thin, you know.
It's like guy likes girl.
Yep.
That's basically everything that Sam is to Michaela and vice versa. And that the characterization is very flat.
Yeah.
Across the board, you know? Like you have like the soldiers, you have the people in the government, the hackers, the other military, like Area 51 agents.
And then like the
group.
Witwicky family.
Right, and they're all, I think that's where a lot of humor is actually needed. There needs to be some personality infused in those sequences. Unlike other IP, blockbusters, I think that's where things kind of get lost in the sauce in terms of like people go to these movies to have fun and kind of turn their brain off. Now, I'm not a proponent for that being at the center of my movie going experience all the time.
Yeah.
But I think that something like this, you do need it. And I don't know. I think that Bay makes up for, and the screenwriters, for the lack of characterization with the humor, with the excitement, with the extremely fast pace.
Yeah.
And that goes with the editing too. Like this is just
blistering.
It is almost too fast at times.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
You mentioned in the third act when they're during the fight sequence in the city, how like every single shot there's someone running, there's someone has somewhere to go to, there's always an explosion.
There's always motion.
There is always motion.
Very kinetic movie, which is like you had brought up. That's like Bay's main tendency is just kinetic energy, movement, noise, explosion, spectacle, and we get a lot of that in this movie. Especially, well, not especially, but you get a lot of that right in the opening sequence with the attack in the Middle East, and you get introduced to Tyrese Gibson, who his character has a name. Same with Josh.
Josh Duhamel. They do have names.
They do have names.
Now, their names are not important to the movie whatsoever.
And they're never brought up.
They're the soldiers.
Yeah.
So that's where kind of like the lazy characterization comes into play.
Yeah, for sure.
But like you're saying, the first sequence is
really good.
Solid. And you get your first look at the Transformers transforming. And we were talking throughout the whole entire movie how those special effects really hold up to this day. Obviously, there's going to be some spotty issues, but especially during the night sequences and the final city fight, man, it is still impressive 20 years later.
Yeah. And because of that kinetic energy, like I had brought, things are moving so quickly that even if there was a texture that didn't look good, you wouldn't be able to tell because it's just moving, and there's so much action and so many explosions and sparks and smoke and things, debris.
Yeah.
Even if there was a bad shot, you wouldn't be able to tell, which is also part of the movie magic, hiding whatever you can hide.
Yeah.
And it really works in this movie. Again, like you said, there's not much characterization. Sam Witwicky, played by Shia LaBeouf, is our hero. He's characterized as like not having many friends at school. He's being picked on right away in his classroom when he's giving a presentation. You can tell that the jocks don't like him. All the popular kids, are making fun of him. You don't really learn much else about Sam other than that he has overbearing parents who you get to meet, and they're very fun. They're a big part of this movie. Kevin Dunn.
They're kind of iconic in their own way.
Yeah, Kevin Dunn and Julie White.
They're like the pure comedic relief of the movie.
Yeah, as Ron and Judy.
They're pure comedic relief.
Yeah, they're probably my favorite part other than Shia in this. They're great. But yeah, you don't know anything about even like what his dad does, what their mom is up to. There's none of that.
Like,
it's just a lot of like humor and a lot of like getting to see who these characters are by very brief exchanges of humor and you know it. But you don't really need a whole lot of that in a movie like this.
You really don't, and that's kind of what makes this movie move too. They don't have to really stop and like exposition dump like their backstories. They unfortunately do that with. There is an exception with Michaela's character and like her past with juvie and her dad being a career criminal and in prison, and that all felt very lazy and uninteresting, to be honest.
And unneeded.
Yeah. And you see that payoff in the end when she hooks on Bumblebee to a rig and drives him throughout the city shooting up other robots.
Her life skills have finally all come into play.
Yeah. But yeah, you really don't have a sense for who Sam really is. He's kind of just like the stereotypical
teenage hero
who like finds himself through the movie, finds his heroic nature, and you know, overcomes his insecurities
in order to get the girl.
It is kind of, it's like, I'm sure they sold it like, oh, this is kind of a coming of age story. And yes, there are elements of that, but that's not really what this movie's about. It's about showing robots fighting each other. And
it does a great job. It does a good job with that. Yeah, you're definitely not wrong. I mean, you know, it's like going to a Fast and Furious movie for characters. You know, you're not going for the brotherhood that all the like you're going for the cars and the chases and the set pieces. And like you said, sometimes it really is okay to like turn your brain off and enjoy stuff like that. Before all the action starts, you get the sequence in the beginning with the attack on the airfield, and then you get the second sequence with the surviving soldiers being attacked in the sand, which is a very cool set piece.
The scorpion
transformer
that goes in and out of the sand. That is a super cool sequence.
Before all that, you get like we talked about the humorous stuff with mom and dad. You get the car choosing the buyer, where Bumblebee rolls up to the dealership and waits to be chosen by Sam. That is the Bernie Mac scene that we talked about, and I just wanted to bring that up because rest in peace, Bernie. He's somebody like we've talked about his scene in this movie probably more than any other scene. He's like this used car salesman named Bobby Bolivia.
Uncle Bobby B.
Uncle Bobby B. And he feels like a character that could have been like in Bad Boys 1, 2, and 3.
Yes, totally.
And that like, Bay just decided to pluck him out and put him in this universe as like a funny thing.
And you can tell like, I think Bay and company had a lot of fun directing that sequence because that does feel the most like Bad Boys inspired with how like sun-baked it all feels.
I bet there was some improv there from Bernie.
I mean, Bernie, he's, I love how we're talking, like Bernie is and was a master.
Yeah.
And he's so funny in everything that he was doing back then.
This was probably my introduction to him.
Me too. And this was probably a couple years before he passed away. I think he passed away like two years after this.
Oh, really?
He was pretty young. This is a scene that, oh my gosh, was quoted so much in high school.
It's a YouTube classic scene.
It's a YouTube classic. Me and my friends, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times we quoted this sequence. I mean, it is just really funny.
Hey, mame.
And I mean, it's also underscored by really good Kevin Dunn, who plays Shia's dad, and Shia himself. So he's taking his son after school's out to go buy him a car.
His first car.
Yeah. And in the first sequence where we meet Sam's doing this like show and tell with his grandfather's artifacts and trying to sell them.
He's trying to hawk them all to his class on eBay.
Via his eBay account. And then it's a great introduction because then you get a really fun sequence with him and his teacher, and he's like, I have a dream, I need to go get this car. I told my dad if I had 3 A's and $4,000 or $2,000, we could get myself a car. And he asked the teacher, what would Jesus do?
What would Jesus do?
And then it cuts to him running out.
The teacher's trying to give him a B-.
Yep.
He talks his way into an A. And you also get his dad fake pulling into the Camaro lot.
That's what I was going to say.
And that's just... It's perfect.
No, Dad, no.
No, you're right.
You're right. No.
I'm not going to buy you a Porsche. You crazy?
Yeah,
it's not a Camaro, it's a Porsche. I'm not going to buy you a Porsche for your first car. You crazy? immediately pulls into the Bolivia lot.
Like the most dingy looking.
It's all like
car lot.
It's all cars from the 70s that are like rusted out and like barely operational. But yeah, it would have been cool if Bernie got one more scene in this movie, but he doesn't overstay his welcome, and every line that comes out of his mouth is gold.
It's funny.
From there, he meets.
Well, that's where he meets Bumblebee.
Yeah, meets Bumblebee.
That's the Camaro that's in the lot.
He doesn't really know what's going on with Bumblebee yet, but then Bumblebee helps him get Michaela a ride home, and the misadventure really begins. Again, Megan Fox doesn't have a whole lot to do in this movie. Having rewatched it years later, it's been a while. She really is just there to linger in front of the camera quite a bit.
It's kind of gross, considering her age.
Some of the scenes are pretty, like the legendary car hood scene, where she's trying to fix his car.
She's just there.
It's a bit much. It is a bit much.
It's a bit much, and
she's a very good-looking girl, and
a very. We don't have to dive into this, but there was a very publicized story about her relationship with Michael Bay and how she felt that he was lingering on her too much and making her uncomfortable, and that's an unfortunate side of I think that era of Hollywood. But like you said, they don't really give that character a lot to do other than to be there for Sam, be the love interest.
Yep.
And she does better work after this. We were saying it during the movie. One movie that I don't think either of us have seen that has a huge cult following is Jennifer's Body.
I've seen that. It's been a while.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
We mentioned she was really funny in her bit part in This Is 40. She is a talented actress.
Yeah.
When given good material, she's not given much to do in this movie.
No. But they gave her a big paycheck, I'm sure.
I'm sure they did.
Other than Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, I don't know any of the Transformers in this movie.
Megatron.
Other than the main villain, Megatron. And I don't know any of their names, any of their characterizations. I'm not going to pretend to, because there's really not much to go off of there. But really, the plot of this movie is just like a series of misadventures. Once you get the Witwicky family involved, it's a lot of Sam running from things, being rescued by other things.
Yep.
And then that rescue turning into another plot point, another piece of the puzzle, so to speak.
Introducing characters that drive the plot forward.
Yeah. Again, it's a very kinetic structure. It's a very loose structure, if you could even really call it that. But again, you're not really going to this movie for that. The set pieces are what you're looking at. Thankfully, later in the movie, you get introduced to more characters and more entertaining characters, like Anthony Anderson, who again has a name. I don't know what his character's name is.
Okay, could you check if is it Glenn?
I think it might be Glenn Whitman.
Okay, I got it. Now he has a great introduction. Where the girl, we're so bad. There's a lot of characters in this movie, and they don't spend a lot of time
They don't really say their names that much either.
No.
She is Maggie Madsen.
Maggie, of course. How could I forget?
Maggie Madsen, Jesus.
She is this, I don't even know her position at the Pentagon, but she's this analyst.
Yep, she's a data analyst.
And she brings this chip, this hard drive over and shows Glenn the sounds of the Decepticons,
the sound waves,
right? And it's a bit much, but then you get Anthony Anderson, the "Shut Up, Grandma," and which is iconic, and then when the government finds them out, you get the
weird little chase,
the chase where his cousin breaks through the door and then jumps into the pool. It's a great 1 minute. That's another YouTube classic, by the way.
For sure.
Everything with Anthony Anderson is funny.
Nathan and I talked a little. Anthony Anderson was pretty big in our childhood because of this, because of Kangaroo Jack, which is a movie that will not be covered on the Uncool
Unfortunately.
Show. I mean,
actually, hold your tongue.
Yeah, give me a few drinks, and I could put in the C movie category again, like I did with Halloween 4.
I'm blanking on his name. Who is the other lead of
Jerry O'Connell?
How
Come
can I
on,
forget that? And Michael Shannon.
And Michael Shannon.
Kangaroo Jack was a huge staple of our childhoods.
And Anthony Anderson's great in this, and he's great in that. This was back before he transitioned into trying to take himself a little more seriously.
Uh-huh.
And he just hits our funny bone.
He's
know?
also comedic relief.
Yeah.
They give him like little responsibilities towards the end of like sending messages or whatever to the Air Force. It's all gobbledygook.
And every line is just gobbledygook, but he makes the most out of it and finds a way to like bring a laugh out with pretty much every line, which is again a testament to him. I really do like him in this movie. John Turturro also pops up in this movie. His character also has a name. This is really fun. Another Seymour Simons. A lot of alliteration going on here.
Seymour Simons.
He's a special agent in Sector 7.
Man.
He's studying the you know, if anybody's even watching it to this point, this is a hard movie to cover just because of how kinetic it is, and every 5 seconds there's another.
A lot of also like different storylines
that don't intersect until the very end.
And a lot of those sequences contain like jargon and like military jargon, government jargon, and exposition that you're kind of just like, okay, I don't really care. Let's get back to like the comedy. Let's get back to the driving force of this movie.
Yeah.
And it's fun, but I don't know.
You know, you and I also, speaking of the driving force, which should be Sam and the Transformers, you and I talked a bit about Shia's physical nature and physical ability in this movie. In the first act, he has a lot of lines, and there's a lot of fun, like typical Shia LaBeouf isms of that time, of like being a smart mouth, being very quick on his toes, whatever, talking his way out of situations. But then the movie becomes a little more physical for him, and we just remarked just how impressive he is and was as a physical performer. He really sells the fear, the screaming, the running around, the kinetic anxiety that Sam has.
He's very neurotic.
And in his own head. And I likened him to like a physical comedian, not like Chris Farley in terms of shape, but in terms of that physicality kind of like driving the performance more so than the actual line readings.
Right. I mean, he like you said, in the first half of the movie, he's tasked with carrying the narrative forward. He's fast talking. He's trying to get out of situations with his parents, with the cops, with Michaela. And as it gets going, when the Autobots are introduced, he is just someone who's literally driving the plot forward by like always running
from A to B,
being scared, being attacked.
Yep. Being ambushed and then having to be rescued.
I truly do think that is due to his, especially like the yelling, the screaming, the kind of like fast nature to his performances. He's kind of like always like it's as if you hit like a 2 times speed in his performance. Yeah. It's like it's double time. It's moving, and it's due to his Disney Channel training. I really do. Even Stevens, he was like a force in that show.
Yep. And always having to be very loud and abrasive and not obnoxious, but very daring and very, very big,
And he plays to that capacity to go big throughout this whole movie.
Yeah.
And through a lot of his run here, he can go big.
And like you had said, the first half of this movie is a lot of like really funny one-liners that they give to him. The scene when he's trying to hide from his parents and they do break in, and the interaction with them, and while Michaela's hiding is very funny. That's a highlight for me. And again, I briefly mentioned Kevin Dunn, but Kevin Dunn should get a little shout out here. He plays Sam's dad. He seemed to have played the dad in every movie of this type back then. He's the dad in Small Soldiers, Nathan and I have remarked on. But I really do think Kevin Dunn, he's great in this movie. He is the quintessential like middle-aged dad, having fun being a dad and like
caring about his lawn.
Yep.
And like like really worrying about his lawn.
Kind of being a stickler for the rules when his son is 15 minutes late.
But he's a big softie because he's supposed to make Sam get in trouble and ground him because that's what the mom says to do, and he's like, just go inside.
Yeah.
After Sam tells him, I love you so much. I love you. God, I love you.
I'm going to clean up the yard. I'm going to take out the garbage.
I'm going to sweep up the whole house.
I'm going to do it all right tonight. He's like, oh, right now. Wow. All right, bud.
Yeah, all right, go inside.
Go for it. But yeah, I just and same with Julie White, who plays Judy's mom. She's like seems to always have like a glass of wine in her hand, and she's just always has something funny to say. I love those two in this movie. We did briefly bring up John Turturro. He joins the cast as like the Secret Seven guy. They give him a lot of funny things to do. At first, he is presented as a very self-serious, I'm a big government suit. And after that mirage is broken, you see he's just kind of like this wimpy dork who doesn't know left from right and is just kind of like fallen into this position. He seems very out of place. He's got a lot more like funny, bumbling things to do.
That's more the Turturro vibe.
Yeah.
Turturro is not this like gruff, serious military type. He's the more like neurotic
bumbler.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's his movie
like the
persona.
Archetype. Yeah. And,
which is I like how that's a really good point. How they kind of
lean into
divide that
yeah.
in the different sections of the movie.
I mean, to that point, there's like you said, there's a lot of scenes in the government building and a lot of scenes in the NSA building where they're cracking the code and looking at the audio and calling in attacks, and John Voight is doing things and he's walking briskly.
Yep.
John
Voight, like way too big. They did not need John Voight to play. I love John Voight.
Me too.
But playing the Secretary of Defense and being given the most like bland wooden dialogue.
Nothing.
He sells it fine.
Yeah,
because he's always good.
He's John Voight.
He's John Voight.
He's
but,
great.
Man, they did not need. Imagine how much money they paid him just to show up and
walk around,
walk and talk,
like look
with government agents.
Look the talk. Yeah,
it's amazing.
It really is something.
Yep.
It's always good to see him. I mean, from that point, they all convene in the military base under Hoover Dam.
Of course, as one does.
As one does, and from this point on, there's a secret attack on that base, and then they survive that attack.
This like sets for like all hell breaks loose.
Yeah,
the Decepticons led by Megatron are.
They
need the cube.
They've mobilized, and the Allspark has been found. In this movie, the Allspark is like the God particle. It's like this big cube that they need to.
I don't even know.
To like rebuild their planet or
on
something.
Earth. Is that what this is about? Or
remember,
like rebuild their planet on Earth?
No, they want to take it.
Oh my gosh!
And rebuild.
I love this.
I don't know. He's like
this is
Megatron's frozen underground.
Yes.
Sam's grandfather finds him. He's got the cube.
Yes.
Or he's got the coordinates to the cube.
Yeah. Well, the
government has
the cube in the facility under the Hoover Dam.
That's right.
And then it's like this huge thing, and then it gets like pared down to this cube that Sam can hold on to and run with like a football across the city.
Ridiculous. But yeah, after the Hoover Dam stuff, the movie just really sets up the last half hour, 45 minutes, which is just all-out warfare. It's not. There's no dialogue really. There's no spectacle. I mean, it's all spectacle.
Well, it's all spectacle, yeah.
And
a lot of these sequences have incredible CGI. Like some of the slow motion sequences. I know that's an overused trope in action movies. The slow mo.
Well, this kind of like started.
But man,
the new generation of like slow mo.
I would agree. Yeah. But like the CGI 20 years later still really holds up. Like you really can't. It's undeniable how much it holds up.
Yeah. It really is a visual feast. It's very well shot. It does have that very sun-baked Michael Bay look throughout. Other than the night scenes, of course, that has a whole different palette and whole different color tone. But the third act really is just all of Michael Bay's career machinations, rolled into one art form. It's all of his little predilections.
It feels like the biggest thing he did up until that point.
Yeah.
In terms of scale, and in terms of how much smoke, explosions, debris, cars flipping.
Yep.
Like it feels like the biggest set piece of his career up until that point. Obviously, I think he goes above and beyond later on through his career and even in this franchise. But man, he does such a good job doing all that. I mean, it's kind of an overused, like the city being the central point for the last fight is overused. Who in their right mind would bring this you know,
They say that the Allspark, like if something happens wrong, it can like
right.
blow up like a nuclear devastation. So instead of like going one direction from the Hoover Dam and going into the middle of the desert, they go in the middle of like a capital city.
That's
It's hilarious.
tons of destruction. And Dylan actually reminded me, and I don't know if I ever even knew this, that there's a sequence when this Decepticon like can transform into a fighter jet, and Optimus Prime like hops on it, and they're like going through this building, and it's an incredible shot, and it looks great with the CGI. But what were you saying about it?
I remember that like there was real controversy about that scene at the time. The MPAA really wanted to cut it because I believe it was one of the first scenes to depict an airplane flying through a building after 9/11, which was, it was only 6 years after 9/11, and it was probably only being filmed 5 years after 9/11.
Yeah.
And it really is kind of jarring after I saw that shot and I remembered all the fuss about it at the time, and it is kind of jarring, at that time. And it's like you had mentioned, this is a very post 9/11 movie. The war is in the Middle East. They're talking about Iraq. There's multiple references to Iran as a nuclear threat, which is kind of interesting. It's very much pointing to the war on terror, and a lot of the heightened military paranoia is probably due to that.
There's a Bush. There's a
that
literal Bush surrogate.
There is a George W. Bush
in
surrogate.
Air Force One. You don't see his face, but it is supposed to be Bush. Like,
and they call him. They say George too. He's.
Oh wow! So they literally don't hide that at all.
Yeah, this woman walks into the Oval Office of Air Force One. I forgot what they call it in real life. And Mr. President, can I get you anything? And you see these socks, these red socks, feet crossed. I'll take a couple of ding dongs, darling.
Yep.
And then this woman, rolls her eyes, closes it, and she walks down. She's like, "Anything for you, George," or something to that effect. There's also just that little moment is a very pointed criticism, which is pretty funny.
It's a weird artifact in that way. Looking back at this movie, very timely for 2007. A year before Obama takes office, that's still Bush in office.
Yep.
It's so looking at it right now, just thinking about it, it's funny that they infused their Hollywood IP blockbuster
with a little bit of real world,
with this much like political commentary.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that Bay is like this.
No, he's not trying to like go too far.
His voice,
no,
cultural voice,
but he's poking.
He's definitely poking.
He's poking, which is, the fact that they do want you to kind of think that this isn't a real, this movie is really trying to be grounded in reality. Even with the flying robots everywhere, like this is trying to be, and I think the military and the Secret Service, the CIA, the Sector 7, all that stuff kind of grounds the movie.
It does.
It makes the stakes feel a little more real because you get all these cuts to everybody running around and like it's DEFCON 0 or something, and I do know that like that's why Bay joined the movie.
Oh yeah.
The first script didn't have any of that, and Bay joined the film. He's like, if you let me if we punch this up like Roberto Orci and Alex Kurtzman, he wanted to add all that military stuff to like make a kid movie more grounded, and I think it really works.
It's like you're watching Black Hawk Down at some points.
Yeah,
it's like those military sequences and fights feel of a different era, like it is certainly post 9/11 but also pre 9/11 with like the Gulf War, and it's so well made, those sequences. You can tell I think he cared the most about those sequences with the military. This is a guy like very masculine filmmaker. He's dealt with the military in his other films, but that's another
a real respect for the military,
right? And that's another. Like I said, I don't think that's essentially like the realistic side. Obviously, this movie strains credulity, but with all the talking robots and fighting robots. But yeah, like some of those sequences where they're getting into fighter jets and all these troops are mobilizing and they're calling in like strikes on these robots. It's like, man, they did their research in terms of like military personnel and the equipment they were using.
And lingo. Yeah, for sure. And I agree with you. I do think he enjoys. Some of the biggest set pieces, like we said, are the military unit. led by Joshie and Tyrese. Getting back to the third act, there really isn't a whole lot to go off of in terms of plot, like we said. It really is just, we're going to the city. Sam, we need you to run here. Sam, take this. Sam, keep going. Sam, don't give up hope. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of
the Allspark.
a lot of Optimus Prime Allspark talk. And you get the Megan Fox tow truck sequence, which I don't even really know.
One thing that we remarked on, Josh Duhamel getting on like a motorcycle, and then sliding off of it and shooting like grenade, whatever.
He has like
explosives,
grenades while he's sliding underneath
under a evil robot.
Is one of the It's one of the cooler, most badass. Like
it's one of the coolest. Like 2007-year-old Nathan was like,
"What?"
Mind blown.
Yeah.
And before we get to a close here, like looking back, like that movie theater experience in 2007 was so paramount to me, like experiencing bombast in the theater. Like I told Dylan, the theater was so loud, especially in that third act.
And
packed
every
and loud.
Seat. Yep.
And like you could probably like feel the theater vibrating. It was so loud, and that it's such a testament to how big Bay can go, and he certainly goes the distance in this final sequence.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The final half hour, there's a lot to look at. There's a lot of really cool little tiny set pieces, and people sliding under. It's
sliding on concrete
for like 20 straight seconds. Just not losing any speed as he it completely ignores all physics. It's great. But there's a lot of like really cool little battles and like little cool finishing kills between the robots. We will say though that we both found the conclusion of this big battle and the conclusion of the film in general very, very anticlimactic in a way that I didn't remember it being.
I didn't either. I thought it was more epic in scope, and I think honestly,
the whole battle is, but then the end of it, it's just Sam like
holding up the Allspark,
cube, and
it just explodes. Megatron
it just
melts him,
just turns him into lava,
and that's it. And it happens so quickly. It's kind of jarring.
It's like a 10-second thing, and then Optimus Prime is like, "Sam, you did it. Good work.
You protected
the world."
Yeah,
and we're just like, "Wait, oh, Sam did do it, I guess."
And it doesn't really stop there. Like there's a good maybe 2 minutes and the rest of the movie, and it just like flashes to different characters and where they're at, and Sam and Michaela are making out on the hood of Bumblebee's car, and then
while the other Transformers are watching,
and it's like the sun is it's sundown. It looks beautiful, and Optimus Prime is giving like he's monologuing. He has
the whole
speech
throughout all of these little montages of like where everybody is. That Linkin Park song from the meme.
Oh my gosh!
What I've done is like slowly building.
Yeah.
The moment that the monologue starts from Optimus Prime, the song starts too.
Oh, it's
perfect. Like this 2-minute build of like what every character is doing or like whatever while he's giving the voiceover, and then like the meme hits. The meme that everybody knows with the directed by Michael Bay with the needle drop.
The perfect crescendo to your Hollywood blockbuster.
Yep,
I will say
is almost the most impersonal final kiss in a movie I've ever seen.
It's so weird. Like
it's not even like, and not that I'm like suggesting it should be like. I've never seen a kiss that's like drifting away.
There's no resolution. There's no like
even a talk.
Not even like a whoo. Like wow, we made it out. Like we made it out alive.
Like Michaela, I can't believe we just survived that together.
How are you? Like I know this was traumatic.
I'm just so glad that this worked out. It's just like complete. They had to get that Linkin Park song. They had to get the Linkin Park song in there.
Like very choppy and
very. You could tell Michael just went. All right,
let's get to the end.
Let's wrap this up. I'm done with the explosions.
I'm done giving any characterization to these humans.
No more feelings.
Yeah, no more feelings. So that's definitely a weakness.
It's really funny in that way, but yeah, the
montage at the end is weird. But
again, it's like I told Nathan, it's like going to a Fast and Furious movie and wanting, Paul Walker and Vin Diesel to have a conversation about like global economics. It's like wanting like My Dinner with Andre with Vin Diesel and Paul Walker while there's a Camaro in the back.
Talking about their emotions after driving a bank vault through Rio.
So what do you think about the proliferation of AI, brother?
Right.
It's not never gonna happen.
And so I'm not trying to be like, oh, I want my Transformers movie to contain that level of depth.
Consciousness, yeah.
But I would like a little bit more just resolution with our characters.
There's like none of it.
Because it does feel like a studio knowing, like, okay, we are about to make a ton of money or there's going to be a sequel.
We'll pick this up next year.
And it is just kind of like the whole movie, a montage of laughs, bullets, explosions, blah, blah, like you can keep going on and on. And so I get that it's that kind of mindless entertainment, but do a little bit more to give your audience some clarity.
Eventually the mess needs to be cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect mess. Like, not perfect mess, but like in terms of a messy movie, this is as perfect as a really messy movie can get.
I would agree. Yeah.
There's a ton of mess here, but the mess still adds up to a really fun time if you can like turn your brain off and understand that none of these characters are going to teach you anything. They're just there to entertain you or move the plot forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no lesson to be learned here. There's no like, this isn't even like one of those movies where it's like the power of friendship.
No.
None of that. There's like none of that.
No, none of that at all.
You know, it's funny. Like the movie tries like, I want Bumblebee. You're gonna stay with him. That's supposed to be like an earned emotional thing. You know,
that's like okay. I guess that's it.
Oh, he gets the car. That's cool.
Yep.
You know?
He gets the car, gets the girl.
Gets the girl. Parents are still alive. What's the dog's name? Mojo.
Mojo's still kicking.
Mojo the Chihuahua, the crippled Chihuahua, is still rocking. But you know, we did have a lot of like negativity, so to speak, with this. But this is a really fun movie. I would imagine most of our friends and family have seen it. This movie was huge for a reason. Everybody saw this when it came out. But you know, again, this is another LaBeouf classic. You know, he's running around being loud, being funny, being physical, doing his things. All the things that years later he would very publicly say that he hated doing.
Which is unfortunate, you know.
You know, I remember one of his quotes like, "Yep, I ran around in harnesses and got launched by fake explosions for years." You know.
Yeah.
Here, and that's
made him a lot of money.
Ironic. That's how Honey Boy opens.
Yes.
If you remember, Lucas Hedges is just like
Yes.
staring blankly into the camera, screaming, and then a fake explosion. He gets, you know, and then a Michael Bay looking dude with a Michael Bay hat. It's like, all right, cut. You know, these movies made him, but they also, you know, put him in the machine that seems he wasn't too fond of and didn't have the best
spit him out,
the best time with.
right?
But again, I think you and I mentioned it. You know, this is another Spielberg shoot him into this role and helped him gave him this franchise. Like, dude, go for it.
He was like Paramount's golden boy.
Yeah.
For a couple years there.
Yep.
And Spielberg was kind of, I think he saw something in him, and obviously the next year he's in Crystal Skull, and the rest is history in terms of Shia's arc for those couple, like from 2000 to like 2010 or whatever.
Yep.
And it's a lot for a young actor to do. I mean, he was a great child star leading into a good leading man.
You know, I think even I, being a big fan, I forget how young he was when he made these. You know, like rewatching this today, I'm like, oh, he's like really young in this. He's still like a kid. Maybe
was he like 19 when he did this? 20?
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But you know, whatever that dude went through, hopefully he can continue to get through it. Megan Fox seems to be in a really good place. She seems to be really healthy and really happy these days. Mm-hmm. And there are rumors that there's a Transformers coming back with Bay. And there's been a lot of Shia LaBeouf rumors before his latest controversy. Even after his latest controversy, he was making comments about Michael Bay and him working. So we'll see if there's something yet for a 40-year-old Sam Witwicky post-alcoholism. You know?
The powers come together once again.
Sam, the all-spark has been taken again. We need you to stop drinking and
Shia.
We need you to stop drinking and doing coke. Please, Shia. Please save our universe once more.
For the paycheck, I'll be
Yeah,
there.
I'll do it. Okay, Optimus, I'll be there.
25 mil. Tell
Sure.
Michael I'll be there.
Yep.
But this is a really fun movie. It very indicative of that era and that style and that not just time of our lives, but time of Hollywood where like blockbusters still attracted massive crowds to the theaters. And this is definitely a movie that it was fun to watch with Nathan and I. We laughed a lot. I would imagine if there was like 4 or 5 other people in here, this is a movie you want to watch with as many people
with
as
the group.
possible.
Surprised this movie hasn't been put out into theaters for like anniversary screenings or just screenings in general. I think it, despite its various flaws and strong flaws, you know, it is just one of like the peak Hollywood blockbusters of its time.
And a very real cinematic experience in terms of the movie theater, you know.
Going to the theater and seeing
Yeah.
it. Yep.
But yeah, this is another. We got 2 out of the 3 of the Summer of Shia instead of the Summer of Sam.
Well,
Yeah, we'll see what Shia's up to next.
yeah.
But you know, again, Transformers is a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun watching it. It's a long movie, but it really does move. And yeah, it's definitely worth going back to almost 20 years later. 20 years has really flown. I still, like Nathan said, I still distinctly remember watching this with Nathan and Gus and just how packed and how loud and how involved that theater was. A time before people were on cell phones in every single screening. But yeah, Transformers is still great. Michael Bay is still great. And LaBeouf is still screaming and running from his demons to this day. So give it a go. All right. Thank you.